Hey everyone, Armine Bazikyan here. This month we wanted to talk to you about trustee fees or compensation for the fiduciary that's serving for your trust after your death or even during your incapacity. So a lot of people will name a trustee, which is a required person when we're talking about trusts, to be in charge of the assets. And if you recall from previous videos, a trustee is somebody that manages the assets on your behalf, either for your beneficiaries or for yourself if you're incapacitated and can't act as your own trustee. So a trustee is actually a fiduciary, meaning they have certain fiduciary duties to follow. It is a job, so you can actually hire a private fiduciary to be your trustee, meaning you're hiring someone whose job it is to be the person in charge. You can actually also name a bank or a company to be your trustee. The point I'm trying to get at is that it's a lot of work, and because it's a lot of work, it requires compensation. And so one of the things that you need to be aware of is the provision in your trust that allows a trustee to receive compensation or doesn't allow the trustee to receive compensation. So every trust has a provision related to, or most trusts have a trust provision related to trustee compensation, and it will actually describe exactly what type of payment the trustee gets for the service and how much it is and in what increments. So be on the lookout for this provision in your trust documents because it is important. So if you've named your brother to be in charge of your trust and you don't want him to get a single penny for the work that he's doing, you want him to do it voluntarily, you need to make sure that your trust has that provision. Keep in mind that if you're naming someone to do this very difficult job that's going to consume time and effort from their lives, take away from their personal life, you have to incentivize them with something that allows them to serve. So most of the time, for most well-written trusts, there is a trustee compensation provision that says the trustee can take payment for the work that they're doing. Now, in real life, do a lot of trustees actually take payment from the trust for the work that they're doing? No, because again, sometimes if you're serving as trustee for your sister's kids, you do it out of the goodness of your heart. You don't actually ask for payment or compensation for it. So a lot of times when you're naming family members will actually waive compensation and say, I know I'm entitled to it, I'm just not going to take it, right? So make sure that you're aware of the provision, and then make sure you're also comfortable with the amount of compensation. So compensation could be labeled as reasonable compensation, which is I'm okay with whatever a judge would feel is average for this scenario. And then it could also be like an exact dollar amount. It could be $50 an hour and that's it. Sometimes if you're naming a professional like an accountant or an attorney, they have their own hourly rates that might be really excessive for trust work. Like if an attorney is charging $6.50 hourly rate, you don't want them to charge a $6.50 hourly rate to be the trustee because they're not being an attorney, they're being a trustee. So you want to have some limitations or some understanding of what they're going to do and how much they're going to charge for the work. So be on the lookout for this provision in your trust documents. If you have a trust in place and you'd like us to review it and tell you what it says about the trustee compensation, if it even has that provision, feel free to call our office. We're happy to have a meeting with you.